Right, let's dive in. We're looking at Verdant Visage today,
You're
which this piece has really kind of captured some attention. People were
Yeah.
talking about it, and for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine like a giant face,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not, painted on a canvas.
Right.
It's woven together like leaves, moss, twigs, almost like the source floor just kind of came to life.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we've got a YouTube video analysis we're looking at, and then also a chapter from Zen and the Art of Enlightenment.
Okay.
So two pretty interesting sources to kind of get into this.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And thankfully, we have an expert here to help us break this down.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of symbolism and artistic choices here that I think we could use some help with.
Yeah, I think what really got me about Verdant Visage at first was just how, I don't know, captivating but unsettling it is.
Oh, interesting.
There's just something about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's peaceful, it's wise, but then it's also kind of
Yeah.
unnerving, and you just...
You want to look closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and both sources, I mean, they really go into the details
Yeah.
describing this face. And one of them talks about the eyes being dark and reflective, like holding ancient wisdom. But then the other one calls them somber orbs.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've seen the passage of time, you know. But it's more than just like a visual description, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially with that contrast, right? That wisdom and somberness.
Right.
That really points to like a core idea in Zen philosophy, and that's finding peace in the chaos,
Oh, interesting.
that kind of stillness, It's like the face has just weathered all these storms and come out the other side
Right.
with like this deep understanding.
Yeah, yeah,
It's inviting us to like tap into that, you know?
right.
But it's not just the expression. It's both sources talk about how the edges of the face, they kind of bleed into the background.
Yeah.
And it creates this, I don't know, almost ethereal effect.
Right.
Is that just an artistic like choice, or is there something more to that?
I think that really speaks to that idea of oneness, you know?
Well,
In Zen philosophy, the idea that everything's connected,
right.
that there's no hard line between us and nature.
Right.
So visually, those blurred lines are kind of reinforcing that idea.
Oh, interesting.
Like this merging, like those boundaries are dissolving.
So it's not just like a cool visual, it's an actual
Right. It's intentional.
intentional representation of this concept.
Exactly.
Okay. And then there's this whole thing with the hidden faces.
Oh, yeah.
And both the video and the book talk about how like you can see these smaller faces within the larger face.
Mhm.
Almost like I don't know, like spirits or creatures hiding in the leaves.
Right.
Like at first I thought, oh, the artist is just messing with us like it's a visual trick.
It's definitely playful, but I think there's more to it than that.
Okay.
You know, it kind of plays with this thing called pareidolia.
Pareidolia.
And that's where our brains are basically wired to find patterns, even when they're not there, you know?
So we see faces in the clouds, we see animals in rock formations. Like
Right.
we're always looking for meaning, for connections.
So the artist is like using that
Right.
to their advantage. Like they're making us.
Exactly. Like look closer, look deeper.
But doesn't that make it even more like intriguing?
It does.
Because did they actually put those faces there, or are we just like imagining it?
And that's what's so great about it, right? It
Mhm.
leaves it open to us.
Yeah.
It's our own interpretation, our own discovery.
I like that.
And if we can connect that back to the bigger picture,
Okay.
it makes you wonder if they're saying that nature itself is full of these hidden faces, these patterns and connections that we might miss if we don't really pay attention.
Yeah, if we don't slow down.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a good point. Makes you want to go on a nature walk and just really, really look.
Yes.
And speaking of noticing things, I mean, we can't ignore that red background, right?
We're red. Yeah.
It's so vibrant against that green of the face.
It's a stark contrast for sure.
Yeah. What do you think the artist was trying to do with that?
Well, it definitely adds a bit of tension, right?
It does.
I mean, the face is so tranquil.
Right.
But then there's this, like, urgency with that red.
Yeah, like a warning, maybe.
It could be, yeah.
Well, and the YouTube video even suggested it could be about like climate change.
Okay, yeah.
That fire of that ecological crisis.
Yeah.
But isn't red also like the color of passion, of life?
That's true. It's not all negative, right?
Yeah.
It's about, like, that life force, that energy.
Okay.
And in Zen philosophy, destruction and creation are part of the same cycle.
Oh, interesting.
It's all connected.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. It's more about acknowledging those cycles.
Okay. I like that it's like, you can't have one without the other.
Exactly. It's that balance.
But how does the actual technique, like the style of the painting itself,
Right.
play into this message? Because the book used this phrase, expressionistic fervor.
Okay.
And I gotta be honest, I wasn't quite sure what they meant.
Yeah, it sounds a little intimidating.
Yeah.
But it's really just about using those bold brushstrokes, those vivid colors, even distorting things a bit
Okay.
to really get those emotions and ideas across, you know?
So it's not about making it look exactly like real life.
Right. It's about capturing the feeling, the essence.
Or about the feeling than perfect details.
Exactly. So like all that passion, that engagement with the subject, it's all there in those strokes and that
Oh,
red,
interesting.
like pouring their energy onto the canvas.
Huh. Yeah, listener, can you feel that energy?
Right.
I'm starting to.
Yeah.
But the book also mentioned biomorphic abstraction,
Oh, yeah.
which even more complex sounding.
It does sound complicated.
Can you break that down for us?
Sure, it's actually simpler than it sounds.
Okay.
It's basically about using those organic shapes, forms inspired by nature. So instead of painting a realistic tree,
Right.
you might see like abstract shapes that still evoke that feeling of a tree.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's kind of borrowing from nature
Right, like a visual language.
to create something new.
Exactly.
And that connects back to the oneness, right?
Exactly. It all ties together.
Wow, okay, so we've covered a lot
We have,
in this first part of our deep dive.
yeah.
What would you say are the key takeaways so far?
Well, I think we've seen how Verdant Visage is more than just a pretty picture. It's full of symbolism. It draws on Zen philosophy to really explore, interconnectedness, finding peace in chaos,
All right, yeah.
the cyclical nature of everything.
And that's just the beginning.
Yeah, we've only just scratched the surface.
So make sure to stick with us. We're going to keep going deeper into Verdant Visage in part 2.
Absolutely, there's so much more to uncover.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and I'm still stuck on that red background. It's just so powerful.
It really is.
It really got to me.
It's that tension,
Yeah.
between that peaceful face and that intense red.
Yeah, and we were talking about how it could be about climate change, but also about life, like...
Right, that duality.
Yeah.
That you can't have one without the other.
Exactly. It's a core part of Zen philosophy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, like finding that balance.
Right, embracing that impermanence.
Oh, I like that. But how does the style, the way the painting's done, how does that play into this? The book talked about expressionistic fervor.
Right.
And I'm still kind of curious about that, what that actually looks like.
Well, you can think of it as the artist just putting all their emotion, all their ideas right onto the canvas.
Okay.
With those bold strokes, those bright colors, maybe even distorting things a bit.
So not trying to make it super realistic.
Right. It's about capturing the essence.
More about the feeling.
Yeah, the raw energy, the passion. Okay, and is that what we're seeing in Verdant Visage?
Exactly. You can practically feel it.
Yeah.
In those brushstrokes, in that red especially.
It's like they're expressing so much.
It is. It's like the painting's alive,
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
It has this energy to it.
But the book also mentioned biomorphic abstraction.
Oh, that word.
And that one really threw me.
It sounds complicated, I know.
Yeah. What is that?
So it's basically just using organic shapes,
Yeah.
forms that are inspired by nature.
Okay.
But, in an abstract way.
So not a perfectly realistic flower,
Right, exactly.
but something that still gives you that feeling.
Yeah, more like the essence of the flower.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like they're using nature's language.
Right, to create something new.
And that goes back to the oneness idea.
It all ties together, doesn't it?
It's amazing, like every detail has this deeper meaning.
It does. It's like a puzzle.
And speaking of the hidden faces, how do those fit into the style and the message, overall?
Well, I think those faces, they pull you in. They make you look closer, think harder.
Right.
And that's a big part of Zen and art, too.
It's not just looking from far away.
No, you got to get involved.
You got to participate.
It's like a journey, right?
Yeah, finding your own meaning.
Exactly. That's where the magic happens.
Okay, but let's bring it back to our listener for a second.
Okay, sure.
Why should they care about this painting?
Right. Well, on a practical level, it's a glimpse into the art world.
Yeah.
How art can express these big ideas.
Right.
But deeper than that, it's about being more mindful.
Yeah.
Like looking for those hidden faces in our own lives.
In our own lives, yeah.
Seeing the world with fresh eyes.
Like that beauty and connection we miss when we're rushing around.
Exactly. It's about slowing down.
So it's not just appreciating art.
No, it's a way of being.
a way of seeing the world.
That's it.
Okay, but what about those messages? Like about climate change?
Right. Well, art can be powerful, but it doesn't always give us answers.
Right.
Verdant Visage, it asks questions,
Yeah.
but it lets us figure out the answers ourselves.
But it's call to action.
It is, but not a specific one.
More about starting a conversation.
Yeah, making us think about our choices, our impact.
I like that. It's empowering, you know?
It is. It's about recognizing we're part of something bigger.
And we have a responsibility.
Exactly, but it's not about guilt, it's about choice.
Yeah. Making good choices, being mindful.
That's it.
It's amazing how much is packed into this one image.
I know, it's incredible.
It's like a whole universe of ideas.
That's the beauty of art.
Right.
It takes us to new places, makes us question things.
And Verdant Visage is a perfect example.
It really is. It stays with you.
It makes you think.
And every time you look at it, you see something new.
Yeah, it makes me want to revisit some other art I've seen
Mm-hmm.
and see it with new eyes.
That's great.
But before we wrap this up, there's one more thing we need to talk about, and that's the legacy of this piece.
Ah, yes, the legacy.
How did it impact the art world? Why does it still matter today?
Right, that's a good question.
Yeah, and that's a whole other story.
It is a complex one.
All right, so here we are, part 3, and we're finally getting to the legacy of Verdant Visage.
It really shows you how much there is to this piece, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing. We've talked so much, and there's still more to unpack.
There really is. It's fascinating.
So how did this artwork actually impact the art world? Like, did it start any trends? Did it influence other artists?
It's hard to say for sure, you know, with influence,
Right.
but I definitely think Verdant Visage contributed to that renewed interest in, like, biomorphic art and
Yeah.
those ecological themes. You can see those ideas popping up in other artists' work later on.
So it wasn't just like a fad.
Oh, no, it started something.
It sparked a conversation.
Absolutely, like planting a seed.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Verdant Visage gave that fertile ground for new artists to explore those themes.
About humanity and nature.
Exactly, in their own way.
I wish the sources gave us some examples, like
Yeah.
who comes to mind for you?
Well, there's this sculptor, Alara Silva.
Okay.
Her work is amazing, these intricate forms made from natural materials like driftwood, stones.
Why?
It's like that same feeling of oneness, you know, human and nature merging.
Like we see in Verdant Visage.
Exactly. It's like it opened a door
And these other artists walk through.
and brought their own voices.
I love that.
Yeah.
But it's more than just art, right?
Oh, yeah. It goes way beyond.
Really?
I mean, Verdant Visage has been in documentaries about climate change.
Right.
It's used in environmental programs.
Wow.
Even meditation practices about connecting with nature.
It's amazing the impact.
Isn't it? It's more than just a painting.
So why do you think it still resonates with people today?
I think it speaks to something deep inside us.
Okay.
Like, we're in this world that feels so fragmented.
Right.
Chaotic and Verdant Visage, it offers that harmony.
That connection.
Yeah, like a reminder of where we belong.
And that feels really important right now.
Especially with all the environmental stuff happening.
Yeah, it's like an antidote.
It is to that anxiety, that disconnect.
That's like it's saying, hey, reconnect with nature.
Yeah, inside and out.
And in a world where everything's so loud, so much information.
Why, it's overwhelming.
Verdant Visage is like this quiet space.
It is. It's a space for thinking, for reflecting.
For just being.
Exactly. Slowing down, observing.
Appreciating that simple beauty.
That's it.
It's powerful stuff, you know?
Yeah.
As we finish up this deep dive, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what do you think the artist would think about all this?
I mean, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But it just shows you the power of art
To connect with people.
to last through time.
Yeah, like they poured their heart into it.
And then we bring it to life.
Through our own interpretations.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And that's what I want our listeners to take away from this. Look for those hidden faces in your own world.
Yeah.
Find that peace, that connection with nature.
Remember you're part of something bigger.
This beautiful tapestry of life.
And beauty.
That's Verdant Visage for you.
That's it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.